Shalom, shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath. Happy new moon. Welcome back. This is a quick Dstm Sabbath lesson. And I am the messenger. And today's my readers are.
Shalom, Brother Shalom.
Shalom, Brother Zion.
Hey, we got a good one for y'all today. Just some quick, basic precepts. Nothing too heavy. We're going to stick with the milk. You understand? Bring out some quick scriptures to help exhort the sisters and how they need to obey their own husbands. Okay? And this lesson is entitled Your Own Husband. Your own husband. Because today, in the body, in Israel, sisters think that they can just listen to anybody husband, okay? And that gains and brings out a covetous spirit, and the sisters start going off because they are not obeying their own husbands, okay? So we're going to open up with the book of Malachi 2:7 first. Read it.
All right. The book of Malachi, chapter 2, verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth.
Stop. The priest's lips should keep knowledge. Okay? So the people that are the priests are the Israelites. All right? The men that's the priests are the Israelites, right? Read.
For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
For he is the what?
For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
Welcome back to Don't Shoot the Messenger. This is our Sabbath sit-down lesson. All right, this ain't the quick DSTM that you be seeing. Sometimes we like to sit down and bring forth the message. All right, hopefully y'all take heed. Okay, give me a book of Ezekiel chapter 3. Verse 17.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me.
Give them what?
And give them warning from me.
Read.
When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand.
So we supposed to warn the wicked, right? Because if we don't warn the wicked, the blood is going to be on our hand, right? Read.
Verse 19. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul.
So that's what we want to do. We want to deliver our souls by getting the blood off our hands. You understand? That's what we want to do. That's why we bring forth these messages, these lessons, these short DSTMs, these short Sabbath day lessons. You understand? That's what we here to do. Okay? So now that I got that out the way, right? The title of this lesson is Your Own Husband. Your own husband, sis, not his husband. Not her husband, not your brother, not your cousin, not your auntie, right? Your own husband, okay? Give me the definition of own. Give me that definition of own. Because own is possessive.
Own, used with a possessive to emphasize that someone or something belongs or relates to the person or thing mentioned.
Read it from the top again.
Used with a possessive to emphasize that someone or something belongs.
Stop. Someone or some things what? Belongs. Read.
Or relates to the person or thing mentioned.
Or relates to the person or thing mentioned. All right. So, he that getteth a wife begetteth a possession. Okay? So, once you get you a wife, you get a possession, you own, that is your own wife, right? And the wives is supposed to obey their own husband, right? Give me that Ecclesiastes 36, verse 24. Verse 24. Whoever got it first, read it.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself.
Start from the top again.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, and a help like unto himself.
A help like unto himself. A help like unto himself, right? So whatever he likes for his wife in the position in his household to how he want her, if she's going to be a help to himself, that's where he wants her at. Okay? His own wife. Okay? And by her being married to him, she got to reverence her own husband. Okay? Read it from the top again.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession.
Stop. Possession. What we just read about own, the definition own. Okay? It's possessive. That means you belongs to that person. Right? Read.
A help like unto himself.
A help like unto himself. All right? So if he's saying, hey, he laying down an order in the house and saying, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to help me with this. I need you to help me with that. Because he might not be as strong as you are in that category, right? And need you to fill in for that type of work that's in the house. All right? You might be good at administrative type things or clerical type things, right? Where he's more hands-on and, blue collared, and he got to go earn his money by the sweat of his brow. Okay, he just needs you to do things like that to help him, right? Read.
A help like unto himself and a pillar of rest.
A pillar of rest. A pillar, what a pillar do? Holds up. It helps support. Okay? A pillar of rest. It helps support. So we knowing now where we going with this lesson. Just off a couple of scriptures. Right? Your own husband, sis. Your own husband. Okay? Give me Genesis 2:18. Genesis 2:18.
All right, I got it.
You got it? Read it.
All right, Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone.
Read it from the top again.
And the Lord said, it is not good that the man should be alone.
Read it from the top again.
And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone.
It's not good for the man to be alone. Read.
I will make him a help meet for him.
A help meet for him. A help meet meaning good. Okay? A help meet for him meaning good. So it's going back into that help. Okay? It's going back into that being a support, a pillar of rest. You understand? Give me Genesis 3:16.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband.
To thy who?
To thy husband.
To thy husband. Thy is possessive again. Thy husband. Thy own husband. Own husband. Thy own is possessive. Not for you to be listening to your preachers and your pastors and your brothers and your uncles. And it's okay for them to listen, for you to listen to them if it's lining up with the scriptures in the order of your Lord's house. right? It's great. That's a great thing. But if you know you bucking against your household, your husband, and they helping contribute to that, you out of order, sis. You are out of order. Stop from top again.
Verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
He shall what?
And he shall rule over thee.
He shall rule over you, not everybody else. You in sin. These is all law, statutes, and commandments. These are all commandments right here, sis. You in sin once you go out of that order. Okay? Give me 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. And whoever got it first, read it.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man.
Is the who?
And the head of the woman is the man.
Read.
And the head of Christ is God.
And the head of Christ is God. That's the order. Who is that man? Your own husband. Your own husband. That's your head. Okay? If you ain't got a husband, your father is your head in your household. If you ain't got a God-fearing father, your leadership is your head. Okay? That's how that works. That's how that works. From being a daughter in your father's house, being raised, who was over you? That man, your father. And a lot of you coming now into this truth, okay, and you're learning that you was wicked and your parents was wicked, right? The person that's over you, if you ain't married, is your leadership. The men that's over you, they supposed to be guiding you in the right direction. Okay, read that again.
You said 11 verse 3.
Start from, give me 3 again.
Verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Is God. Jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Okay, because the woman came from the man. Read.
Verse 9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
So the woman was created for the man. And who is that man? Your own husband, sis. Don't nobody trump your husband. Nobody but Christ and the Most High God. Christ and the Most High God. Okay? And you can't jump your husband and being disobedient to your husband and thinking Christ is gonna agree with that. He's gonna honor that. Your prayers is gonna be hindered. He can disannul your prayers. If your husband hear you praying, he can say, hey, Christ, don't. I'm shutting that down. I don't want to hear it. Don't grant that. So your husband have power over you, your own husband. Okay? Let's continue. Give me Ephesians 5, verse 22. Ephesians 5, verse 22. Because that's what be happening, man. That's what be happening. And they wonder why there's no peace and there's no order and structure in the house, because somebody's going out of order. You can't argue with yourself. I never seen a man argue with himself. Mm-hmm. Right? You got that? Read.
The book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
Unto who?
Unto your own husbands.
Unto your own husbands. Your own husbands. Read.
As unto the Lord.
As unto the Lord. You submit yourself to Christ, right? You got to submit yourself to your own husband as unto the Lord. He is the Lord in your household. Read.
Verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body.
So it's the order right there. Your husband is your head. He's over you directly, just like the chain of order. You don't go holler at the CEO if you pushing carts at Walmart. You're going to go up the chain of command to your lead, right? To your supervisor, to your manager.
Store manager.
Store manager is going to go up a chain. All right? Read.
All right. Verse 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
To their own what?
To their own husbands in everything.
Their own husband in everything. 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 Okay? Now, you can't go out there and he asking you to sin. Of course not. He ain't telling you to go shoot somebody, if he ain't telling you to go rob somebody, if he ain't telling you to go outside of these scriptures. You got to be subjection to him in everything. Read that again.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands.
Their own, yeah, don't skip that. Their own husbands, read.
Their own husbands in everything.
In everything, read.
Verse 25, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church.
You know, I had to bring that out because they're going to say, oh, man, he didn't want to read that part. You don't want to read that part. Hold that right there. Give me 1 John 5:3. Let's see what love is. Let's see what love is. 5 verse 3. Let's see what love is. Right? I got it. I'll pull it. The book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So the love of God is the keeping of the commandments. So when we saying, when the Lord is saying over here, right, in Ephesians, through the spirit of Paul, okay, that this is what we need to be doing. The love is the keeping of commandments. You understand? Read that again.
The book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 25. Husbands, love your own wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Read.
Verse 26, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
Read.
That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
Without blemish. Read.
So ought men to love their wives.
Love their wives. What we found out love is the keeping the commandments. Okay, read.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
As their own bodies. So as you get up and, you know, you teaching your family and you following the dietary laws, the moral laws, the civil laws, the ceremonial laws, right? That's how you love yourself. You're not putting tattoos on your body. Okay, you're not out here breaking the Sabbath. Okay, you keeping the feast days. Okay, you doing what the Bible say do. All right, that's love. Read.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Okay, that means he's rebuking her. He's correcting her. All right, he's keeping his household in order. That's what that is. He's keeping his household in order according to the scriptures. Right? Continue.
Verse 29. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones.
Read.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh.
They're going to be one flesh. They're going to be one flesh, but who rules in that flesh? The husband. And you're supposed to obey your own husband. So in that one flesh, it's still order. Because some sisters would say, hey, we one flesh. It's 50-50. We became one flesh. Ain't no 50-50 in this one flesh. You still got to reverence, obey, honor, respect, love your husband. Right? Read.
Verse 32. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband.
She do what?
See that she reverence her husband.
See that she reverence her husband. Reverence her husband. Respect her husband. Right? Honor. Right? Fear. They even go into the fear. You're supposed to fear your husband. You know you out of line, sis. You know you're not doing what the scriptures say. It should be a point of fear. It should be a point of fear if you reverence your husband, meaning you're not going to do things that he don't allow. You're not going to go outside and do these things. You're going to reverence your husband. You're going to respect him. That's a high respect. Okay? That's all I want on that. Let's move on. Give me 1 Peter 3. We're going to start at verse 1. 1 Peter 3. We're going to start at verse 1. When you got it, read it.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not...
You going over the main point. Start.
My bad.
Start from the top again. Read.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands.
To your who?
To your own husbands.
To your own husbands. Look what Peter bringing out here. To your own husband. Right? Read.
That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives.
So if you can't win them by the word, right? You can win them over by the conversation. All right? You can try to win them over by your conversation. So if you got something that you want him to do, you got to try to win them over. Right? Continue reading.
Verse 2. While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. It's going back into that reverence. It's going back into being chaste. It's shamefacedness. We're going to bring all that out today. You understand? So you got to use your power, and your power is being feminine. Sisters, your power is being feminine. Okay? Read.
Verse 3. Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning, or plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel.
Stop from the top again. Read that again.
Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning, of plaiting the hair.
Of plaiting the hair.
And of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel.
Okay, so it shouldn't be all about, because you got a lot of sisters right now that then ran to some congregation, right? that just looking to be pretty. Do their hair. Some people got their hair did just to go sit down and look pretty. Got their jewelry on, wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel. That's what a lot of you sisters think this is about. Read.
Verse 4. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible.
It got to be the hidden man of the heart, that in that which is not corruptible. It's about your inner beauty. Okay? You shining within out, not out in or out. You supposed to let your light shine within out, or you a hypocrite. Because the Pharisees did the same thing. They had the big old fringes on and they just wanted to be seen. Right? Read.
All right. In that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
Of a meek and quiet spirit. You got to be quiet, sis. You got to be meek and quiet. I don't know too many people argue with themselves if the person is quiet. A soft word turn away wrath. Use your femininity, because a real man is going to be masculine. You can look at anything in the animal kingdom. That male is going to be more dominant than the female. If you're trying to be more dominant and more masculine, you're actually going against the order of things, the natural order of things, right? Read.
All right. Of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God a great price.
In the sight of God of great price. Okay? That's a great price in the sight of God. That's a great price, right? Read.
Verse 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Unto their who?
Unto their own husbands.
No, unto their brother.
Unto their own husbands.
Their uncle.
Unto their own husband.
The pastor.
Unto their own husbands.
The preacher.
Unto their own husbands.
To their own husband. Why? It's kept being brought out because the woman is the weaker vessel, and somebody can normally, especially if a man is good at talking, right? He can get the woman to do what he say instead of following her own husband. I'm telling you, man, there's some guys out here slick. Next thing you know, you are not in this truth. Next thing you know, you way out of order with your husband. Next thing you know, you're not even at home. You got to obey and reverence your own husband. Now you're looking around and, everybody else, you got to look at everybody else's family and the sisters out here. There's some sisters out here that's really, really abide by these laws, statutes, and commandments, and then they in order with their lords. Right? Continue.
All right, verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
Even as who?
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
Read.
Calling him Lord.
Calling him Lord. Read.
Whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement.
So, our foremother Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughter ye are. As long, this is the stipulation, because a lot of people like to think it's just unconditional love in Israel. It's not. It's not no unconditional love. Here are some of the conditions, right? As long as ye do well, okay, and are not afraid with any amazement, meaning you're not afraid to keep these commandments. You're not afraid to stand up to your family member or whoever else telling you different other than what you are being taught at home by your Lord. You understand? Let's move on. Titus 2, verse 3. Titus 2, verse 3. Because it's just getting out of hand. It's all here, what we need to be doing, what the sisters need to be doing. Okay? You got to reverence, you got to obey your own husband. We keep hearing this own. It could have just said your husband. It's saying own husband, not somebody else's. You got to read it.
The book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things.
Teachers of good things. Read.
That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children.
To love their husbands, to love their children. Read.
To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home.
No, I'm living over here this week.
Keepers at home.
No, I'm going over here to my mama house.
Keepers at home.
I'm going to my auntie house.
Keepers at home.
How you going to be a keeper at home if you ain't at home? You're not at home. You keeping somebody else's house. You think the Most High is jotting that down in the book of life? You think he's jotting that down on your what you have done in this life? You think that he write that down on the good side of your judgment? Okay, keepers at home. Read.
Good, obedient to their own husbands.
Read that again.
Good, obedient to their own husbands.
To their own husbands. Good, obedient to their own husbands. Man, we done ran on so many times today. To their own husbands. Right? Read.
That the word of God be not blasphemed.
It's blasphemy when you're going against these things. And you know the blasphemers ain't going to make it in the kingdom of God. It's actually blasphemy when you go against these things. That's scary. That is scary. So give me the book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 18. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 18. Whoever got it, read it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 18. There be three things which are too wonderful for me, yea, for which I know not.
So Solomon like, hey, it's three things which are too wonderful for me, and for which I know not. And you know how smart Solomon is, right? Solomon was the richest and the wisest man, right? Read.
Verse 19. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon the rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid.
In the way of a man with a maid, right? So this is also going back into your own husband, sis. Your own husband, because your husband is going to be different with you than everybody else. Husbands are different with their wives. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. So stop looking at this sis, how she's being treated by her husband, and this sis, how she's being treated by her husband, or this husband on how he treat his wife. Read that again. The last part of it.
All right. And the way of a man with a maid.
In the way of a man with a maid. So you're not going to be the same. If you're thinking it's going to be exactly the same, you are sadly mistaken, sis. Everybody is different in their household. You have some men that's more forward with on how they do. Some are more nice. Some are sweet. It's different. Okay? It's different. Everybody ain't going to be the same on how they treat or, deal with their wives. It's not going to be the same. It should be the same in the commandments, though. Let's not mistake that. The brothers should be dealing according to the scriptures. All right? So let's move on. I just wanted to bring that out, that quick point. Give me Proverbs 30. No. Give me 1 Timothy 2 verse 9. 1 Timothy 2 verse 9, because the Lord keep bringing this out in the spirit of our forefathers on what we need to be doing. You got it, Zion? Read it.
All right. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. In like a manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
Stop. So you should be modest, right? Read.
With shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array.
Right. So you're not supposed to be doing that. It shouldn't be all about you outwardly, right? Read.
But which becometh women professing godliness with good works.
With good works. Women professing godliness with good works. Okay? That is keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? Shalom, give me the next verse.
Verse 11. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Okay? You got to be in subjection, submitting. Subjection is synonymous with submit, right? Read.
But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence.
You're supposed to play your position, sis. Stop trying to teach and be over him. Be silent. Be in subjection, right? Read.
For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
Okay, we burned that out in Genesis 2, Genesis 3 earlier, right? Read.
And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
The woman was in her transgression. She was being deceived. She been deceived. That's why we keep reading to obey your own husband, because somebody else can come in, creep in, right, and lead silly women captive, right? And you go outside of what your husband, according to the scriptures, hath in place for you in your household. Your household. Oh, it's his house. Oh, it's not my house. It's not. No, it's your household too, sis. He just run it. We're going to bring that out. Read.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith.
Read that again.
If they continue in faith.
Read from the top.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety.
So that's how you gonna make it up out of here. We all got to keep the commandments, but these are specific commandments for you to make it to the kingdom. These are your specific commandments, right? Let's move on. 1 Corinthians 14. We're going to start at verse 34. 1 Corinthians 14. We're going to start at verse 34. You got it? Read it.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches.
Saying it again. Right? Let the women keep silence in the churches. Read.
For it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law.
Read that again.
But they are commanded
from the top. Give me from the top.
Verse 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience.
Under obedience. Read.
As also saith the law.
also saith the law, under obedience, first and foremost to your own husband. Right? Read.
Verse 35, and if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands.
Their husbands.
At home.
At home. Not, I'm over here and I'm talking to this person, this man and woman about my husband, this, that, or the third, and I'm over here and I'm trying to learn this, that. Your husband, you're supposed to go to him. He's supposed to teach you according to the scriptures. Your own husband. Read.
For it is a shame for women to speak in the church.
Okay, for it's a shame for women to speak in the church. It's going back to who? Your husband, sis. If this brother is saying this and your husband is saying that, who you supposed to listen to? Your own husband. If this brother is saying, hey, this is how I govern my house, okay, we doing it according to the scriptures, but this is the way we go about doing it. And your husband said, hey, bro, this is the way we do it here. It's according to the scriptures. Because it's not going to be the exact same. Right? The scriptures are the same. You follow the commandments, yes, but he might have you say, hey, I want this done at this time. I need this. I need my water ran by this time. I need this did. I need this on this day. I need you to do this. This is when you're gonna do benevolence on this days. You're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. So it's all in righteousness, but you're not gonna get the same thing from the same person because you gotta follow your own husband. All right. That's all I wanted on that. We're gonna move on a little further. Proverbs 31:10. Because everybody want to be this woman. Everybody. You got it? Read it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. You want me to keep reading?
Start from the top again.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Everybody want to be a virtuous woman, but that's very hard. Read.
The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil.
So he ain't going to spoil because his heart trusts in her, right? She's doing everything for him to have that trust. How do you gain that trust? By doing everything he tells you to do according to the scriptures. You're not trading. You're not being a trader. You're not going outside of his leadership or what he's got lined for you. You're not going outside that order. It's a terrible thing to betray and trade on your Lord. He will lose that trust for you. You traded on him. You going around his leadership, his counsel to go through somebody else that's going to tell you the same thing he told you. Like, what's the purpose for that? Or you run into the people that he don't deal with to bring shame to his name and his household. That's a traitor. That's that Judas Iscariot spirit. All right, read.
All right. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
She gonna treat him good all the days of his life. Right? Read.
She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night and giveth meat to her household.
To her who?
To her household.
Her who?
To her household.
To her household. Okay? To her household. Oh, that's not my house. Oh, that's his house. This, that, get mad. No, that's your house too. Her household. He run the house, but it's still considered your house, sis. You can't do all these things at somebody else's house. How you gonna put them works on your book if you ain't doing that at your house? And you keep bouncing around and moving around. You here, you there, you being a busybody, you gadding abroad and gadding about here and there. Read.
All right. She giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it with the fruit of her hands.
Stop. That's all I wanted on that. Her household. Her house. All right? Her house. Okay? Proverbs 14:1. I got one more after this. You got it, read it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
Read it from the top again.
Every wise woman buildeth her house.
No, his house.
Her house.
No, their house.
Her house.
Her auntie house.
Her house.
Her cousin house.
Her house.
Her brother house.
Her house.
Her house. Her house. Okay? Not everybody else's house. Her house. How you gonna do that and you're not home? Read.
Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
But the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. You're gonna pluck down your own house, sis. You plucking, that's what's gonna happen. Are you wise or are you foolish? That's what you gotta ask yourself, right? Give me Proverbs 12:4. Or are you that virtuous woman or are you this foolish woman? You got to read it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband.
Is a crown to her husband. Look at this. Is a crown to her husband. You want to be a crown to your husband, sis. Right? Read.
A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones.
Man, read that from the top again. Read.
A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones.
He's going to be rottenness in his bones. It's going to be rottenness in his bones, sis. So your own husband, you need to honor, respect, reverence your own husband. Obey your own husband. Okay? So, happy Sabbath, happy new moon. Love all y'all. Okay? But sisters, just like us, we gotta do what we supposed to do and to reverence our heads that's above us, and that's Christ and the Most High God. Right? Yahweh Shai and Yahweh. Y'all got to reverence, obey, and respect your lords. So I hope this video was edifying. I hope it strengthened your walk. Okay? And happy Sabbath to y'all. And remember, don't shoot. I am only the messenger. Shalom.